A very good morning, Fabio here, and welcome back to another daily market outlook in which we discuss all the major dollar pairs and of course gold. So guys, before we dive into EURUSD, obviously Bitcoin has hit $100,000. So congratulations to you if you are in or in any other altcoins, as I do expect the altcoin run now to begin as well. As we can see, the analysis from Monday, and you can watch back Monday's video, played out pretty well. We dumped in towards this area of demand, liquidated the range low, and from there we have seen that massive reversal into $100,000. So let's see what's in store for Bitcoin. Obviously, we've now seen a break of structure, expecting some more upside still. Yeah, obviously now we need new structure to form before getting in any further longs on Bitcoin. Now, going back into EURUSD, the real world, what we can see here on EURUSD is that the daily is still bearish. So if we look at the daily fractal structure, we can very clearly see that this is your high and that this over here is your low. So we make the retracement all the way in towards the highs. And then if you look very closely here at the individual candlesticks, once again, we can see high, low, higher high, and then a lower low, and now obviously you would expect a new lower high before another push in towards the downside. So going then into the 4-hour time frame, because we understand, okay, the daily still has potential to push down lower. Here on the 4-hour, what happened yesterday is that with the news, we pushed above this liquidity high. So this liquidity high over here was positioned exactly below this area of supply. And remember what we mentioned yesterday is that if we take out liquidity, which is exactly below an area of supply, this can cause a reversal in towards the downside. Now, obviously, we did see one single bearish candlestick, but again, you guys know we do not just sell on a bearish candlestick and put the stop loss above the highs. No, we wait for bearish confirmation, because at this point in time, what you see happening is just simply a retracement in towards this demand zone. So now what we can see is that we want to take this high out, which we've just done, and this now is your fractal low, meaning that the overall order flow has now shifted in towards this bearish candle over here. So if we now break this area of demand and we now break the fractal low, that is when I'm going to get into shorts on EURUSD and sell it off further in towards the downside. So that's what I'm currently waiting for here on euro dollar. If that were to happen, then we get some nice shorting opportunities. Otherwise, what could happen today is that we just follow the overall order flow and continue with EURUSD up higher and break that structure overall. Going into the 15-minute time frame, because I know a lot of you also want to understand what you're looking on the 15. So the 15-minute time frame is consolidating pretty heavily, as we can see over here. So that's why I'm not really looking at the lower time frame for today on euro dollar. I'm more focused on the 1 hour and on the 4-hour time frame. And also, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, the fractal low is the exact same pretty much as on the 4-hour. It is pretty much around here. So just simply waiting for euro dollar to take that out, and then we'll get in on a short on the 15-minute time frame. Then we're going to start looking for something like this, where we get the 15-minute change of character, and we'll identify a potential short, because otherwise, again, we could just push up higher for now in line with the overall 4-hour order flow. Now, looking at the dollar index itself has been consolidating as well very heavily. We have some red folder news. Obviously, we have NFP tomorrow on Friday. So waiting for that now to happen. I think the dollar is therefore also just consolidating for now and not really moving. I'm sitting this one out personally and waiting for NFP to drop. Obviously, here on the 1 hour time frame, you cannot really trade this unless you're just a range trader, but I do not really see any opportunity inside of this box. So personally, I'm just going to be waiting, looking at the higher time frame. And if we look at the higher time frame being the daily, we can see that the daily fractal structure is still intact, meaning that at this point in time, this is your daily fractal high and this over here is your daily fractal low. So as long as this overall structure remains intact, it still makes sense to start pushing up higher. So I'll be waiting and seeing what happens. We need some overall order flow to be created again. We need the 1 hour to shift bullish again, because at this point in time, the 1 hour here is bearish. So we need to see something like this again, and then EURUSD shorts, for example, will become more and more interesting. Otherwise, what could happen here is that we just follow the overall buy before the sell further in towards the downside, right? This is currently your supply that's in control. And this could just push the market down lower, for example, in towards here. And then we'll need to see if we get any new reactions. But for now, the immediate bias is just a little bit indecisive, but it is not looking very bullish at the moment. So we need to wait for that bullish or for the bulls to come back and gain control. Looking at AUDUSD, what can we see from AU? Going into the daily, first of all, we can see that the daily is currently making a pullback. So again, as always, what do we do when looking at the daily time frame? The very first thing that I preferably want to do is look, okay, what is the overall current trend on swing structure? Well, we can see that we're overall bearish in towards the downside. Now, next we look at the daily fractal structure. And what is the daily fractal structure doing? This is currently your daily fractal high. This is currently your daily fractal low. And we're making a retracement in towards the high. So this is currently your supply zone here on the daily time frame that is in control. So that is then also the one that I'm going to be focusing on the 4 hour. So then we drop down in towards the 4 hour and it becomes very clear what we're looking at. Here we have an area of supply. So again, very obvious, the overall momentum is still in towards the downside, so it doesn't make sense to look for longs yet, as we're not trying to call a reversal. This, if you drop down in towards the 1 hour, is your internal liquidity high. So preferably now what you want to see is take out that high and see some form of 1 hour order flow shift to then get in on a short again, because for now we can see that the internal structure is just bullish, yeah, there's no confirmation at all to get in on any shorts. So therefore really sitting this one out until again we see some form of bearish confirmation. But for now, again, sales are looking better than longs. Obviously this is the 4 hour supply zone, which is also the daily supply zone, which I just showed you. So yeah, looking for shorts inside of there. Going into GBPUSD, we can see that GBPUSD has been pushing up higher. Overall, GU is consolidating on the lower time frame. If you look here at the 1 hour, you're going to very clearly see again that we have not really seen any change in structure over here. Overall, we're just pushing up higher and higher, and it does seem like it wants to change structure again, meaning that if you focus on the daily here, that would mean that the daily would then flip bullish once again if we were to take out this high over here. So this is the fractal high that needs to be broken. I'm not looking at shorts at the moment. I'm going to be explaining why in a second, but if we take out that high, then that could be the fuel to push GBPUSD up higher. Also looking at the weekly, obviously we're coming from a weekly demand zone over here, so a sell before a strong buy up, and that is currently pushing the market up higher in towards the next imbalance, which is the next area of weekly so-called supply. Focusing here on the 4 hour time frame, we can see that the 4 hour fractal high is soon to be broken, it seems. This is currently your 4 hour fractal high. If we break that, then definitely do not get involved with shorts. In my personal opinion, this is kind of like the last place where we could start selling off from. We kind of have these two equal highs. You could classify this as a supply zone. So now you want to see this low go in order to confirm shorts. So this would be a beautiful short if this happens. If we break this low, a beautiful short. But for now, it is still bullish, and we can very clearly see, again, that demand is still in control. So when demand is in control, you want to stay out of the market because you're not trying to call a reversal, right? We're trying to trade with the trend. So wait for that to happen, and then we'll also see the 1 hour shift as well. And those will be high probability shorts, because otherwise, again, the overall trend could just continue up higher, and then you'll see a daily fractal high break over here, and then it will just most likely continue up higher in towards that weekly imbalance that I just showed you. Going into NZDUSD here on the daily, first of all, we can very clearly see that shorts played out pretty nicely overall. Now, what happened is very similar to AU, and let me just clean up the chart for you guys. So overall, again, very similar actually also to GU, but then a lot more bearish momentum. Here, fractal high break, then what is the low that broke that high? That is the low of this candle over here. Then again, another fractal low break over here, meaning that at this point in time, this over here is your fractal high. So what I'm keeping my eyes open for is, as long as this fractal high is respected, we should still continue down lower. Then I drop down into towards the 4 hour time frame, and I see this is also in line with the overall 4 hour structure. Again, let me just clean up my chart for you. Here on the 4 hour time frame, what you're pretty much looking at is a break up, a break down, a break down. So this is currently a swing high, this is currently a swing low. We're currently retracing in towards a supply zone over here. So overall, it does make sense to look for sells here on NZDUSD, right? So go back up in towards the daily. We see, okay, the daily fractal is also bearish, right? This, again, it was the daily fractal high. This over here is the daily fractal low. So immediate bias is looking for a short. Then you drop down in towards the 4 hour. So on the 4 hour, we're currently situated inside a supply zone. Then you drop down in towards the 1 hour time frame. And then what you want to see on the 1 hour is, for example, this supply zone over here, or you want to see this supply zone where we're currently situated inside of over here, provide us with a reaction. So this could be seen as liquidity and this initial high as well could also be seen as liquidity, but now what you want to see is kind of like the bearish reaction in order to get those shorts. So we need to see bearish confirmation in either one of the supply zones in order to get a valid short. Otherwise, again, we could just continue up higher, because here on the 4-hour time frame, again, this is what makes fractal structure so beautiful. Here on the 4-hour time frame, you can very clearly see that we had a 4-hour fractal break. So here the low gets broken by this high, and then again we break the high once again over here. So this now means to me that this demand zone is in control, and then what you see happening is that we tap exactly into that demand zone, and then boom, we shoot up again. So for now, it's very clear to me that demand is in control. The highest probability short will come once we break this order block once again, and then you'll have a far higher probability short. If you don't want to miss out on the overall move, then obviously you can look to sell from this imbalance over here. Again, use the 50% body candle, and it becomes very clear that this is imbalance. So you can look to short from there and be, let's say, a little bit earlier to the race. However, you need to keep in mind that you then need to wait for a little bit more confirmation. So check out the 1-hour time frame, and then, for example, understand that you need at least to break this low over here, which is your 1-hour fractal low, which broke this high, and then you want to see that low broken, and then you could look for a short, because for now it is just too bullish. So let's wait for it to flip bearish. Last of all, we have gold. Gold has been consolidating very heavily. As we can see, we swipe the range high, push down, we swipe the range low, push up. So this for me is just really a waiting game for NFP. There's no reason to gamble your money on this. For now, obviously the structure is still looking bearish as supply is still in control. But overall, we can very clearly see that this supply zone is not really giving you the desired result, right? Because what you expect from a supply zone is that it pushes the market down lower. However, we can see how many times have we pushed into it and then pushed down lower, but then just come back up again. So for me, this is not a strong area of supply. I need to wait for order flow to shift bearish, and then we can get in on that. So we need to wait for structure to break and then see some confirmed sellers be in control, because I don't want to get stuck inside of this range. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Wish you all a fantastic trading day. We're going to go live here on YouTube in the afternoon, so make sure to tune in, and I'll see you there.